Archaeology is full of mysteries that challenge our notions of the past and compel scholars to reevaluate historical data. For instance, in 2018, archaeologists in Peru discovered the remains of more than 30 people buried with a rich inventory, including gold and precious stones, indicating the presence of a complex social structure in the pre-Inca period. In 2019, ancient tablets dating back to the 3rd millennium BCE were found in Iraq, containing records of early accounting systems used by the Sumerians for trade. These discoveries cast doubt on traditional views of when and how complex economies emerged. In 2020, researchers in China found burial sites with the remains of people who perished in a catastrophic flood, confirming theories about climate change and its impact on early civilizations. Archaeology, like a detective, continues to uncover new facts that not only enrich our understanding of history, but also make us question how much we still don't know about our past. The Iron Pillar in Delhi, standing at over 7 meters tall and weighing approximately 650 kilograms, was erected in the late 4th century AD during the reign of Emperor Chandragupta II, also known as Vikramaditya. This pillar, located in the complex of Qutb Minar, attracts attention not only for its grandeur, but also for its unique properties that have puzzled metallurgists and scientists worldwide. Made of iron containing more than 98% iron and less than 2% carbon, the pillar has remained virtually corrosion-free for over 16 centuries, a true marvel for any metal, especially in the humid and polluted climate of India. One of the most astonishing aspects of the pillar is the near absence of corrosion marks, which challenges contemporary understanding of how iron structures should behave under such conditions. This property has led to numerous hypotheses, ranging from suggestions that the pillar was treated with special compositions to more complex theories that it contains natural antioxidants. For instance, a study conducted by a group of scientists from the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru revealed that a protective layer of oxides had formed on the surface of the pillar, preventing further corrosion. This layer consists of magnetite and other iron-containing compounds, indicating the high level of skill of the ancient metallurgists who may have employed unique metal processing methods still unknown to modern science. The pillar is also adorned with inscriptions in Sanskrit that detail the exploits of Emperor Chandragupta II and his dynasty. These inscriptions are not only important historical records, but also attest to the high achievements of Indian culture at that time. The durability and resistance of the pillar to corrosion have made it a symbol of ancient Indian metallurgy and a subject of interest for researchers from around the world. In the 19th century, when European scientists examined the pillar, they were amazed by its condition, leading to numerous studies aimed at understanding its unique properties. In particular, Professor D.S.K. Misra of the Indian Institute of Technology in Kanpur conducted extensive research that showed that iron processing technologies in ancient India were on par with modern methods. His research revealed that high-quality iron and unique forging and heat treatment techniques were used to create the pillar, enhancing the material's strength. Today, the Iron Pillar in Delhi is considered one-of-a-kind example of ancient metallurgy that not only resists corrosion, but also demonstrates the high level of scientific and technological development in India in the 4th century. Preserving such artifacts as this pillar is a crucial task for historians and metallurgists seeking to understand how ancient civilizations could create such impressive structures that continue to awe and amaze. It is important to note that the pillar was installed as part of a complex that also includes a mosque and minaret built in the 12th century, further underscoring its historical significance and cultural heritage of India. The study of the pillar continues, and each new discovery only increases interest in this remarkable structure. As a result, the Iron Pillar in Delhi is not just a monument of ancient architecture, but also a source of knowledge about the technology, culture, and science that existed more than 16 centuries ago. The enigmatic rings of Bahistan are metallic rings embedded in rocks in a mountainous region in southwestern Afghanistan. These artifacts were first described in the early 20th century, when archaeologist Charles Bonfan conducted excavations in the area in 1939. Currently, over 400 rings are known to be scattered across various parts of the region, particularly in the Kandahar area. The rings vary in size, ranging from 1 to 2 meters in diameter, and are massive metal structures believed to have been embedded in the rocks using technologies that remain unclear to modern scientists. Despite numerous theories, the origin and purpose of these ring-shaped objects continue to be subjects of active debate among researchers. Some suggest they could have been part of ancient technologies used for controlling water flows or creating defensive structures, while others believe they might have been sanctuaries or places of worship. Scientific research conducted in 2005 revealed that the metal used in the rings contains high levels of nickel, casting doubt on traditional ancient metalworking methods. Material specialists like Dr. Ismail Amini assert that the creation of these ring-shaped objects would have required technologies not available to the inhabitants of Bahistan at the time they were likely created. Additionally, in 2009, a group of researchers from Kabul University, led by Professor Azad, conducted an examination that showed the rings had been subjected to high temperatures, indicating they might have been formed as a result of volcanic activity, although this theory also has its proponents and opponents. Some researchers, such as anthropologist Dr. Layla Shafi, propose that these rings could be linked to ancient civilizations like the Indus civilization, which existed in the 3rd millennium BCE. However, no direct evidence of their connection to these cultures has been found. In 2013, a group of geologists from Tehran University proposed a hypothesis that the rings might have been part of a system for mining valuable minerals, as numerous traces of ancient mines were found in the area. This idea, though intriguing, does not explain why the rings were embedded in the rocks. Local legends also add to the mystery of these rings. For instance, some claim they are remnants of an ancient temple dedicated to an unknown god, while others believe they represent entrances to the underworld. In recent years, in 2020, new research was conducted using modern technologies such as ground-penetrating radar to study the structure and layout of these ring-shaped objects. These studies revealed that the rings form complex patterns that may indicate the presence of other hidden structures beneath the surface. However, none of these studies have led to definitive conclusions about the purpose or origin of the rings. The scientific community continues to discuss various theories, but the mystery of the rings of Bahistan remains unsolved. In 2023, a new expedition was initiated to collect samples and conduct a more in-depth analysis, hoping to shed light on this ancient enigma. The rings of Bahistan, embedded in the rocks, remain one of the most intriguing archaeological objects, and as long as their origin remains unclear, they continue to attract the attention of scientists and history enthusiasts from around the world. The Baghdad Battery, also known as the Ctesiphon clay pot, is an artifact discovered in the area of modern-day Iran and dated to approximately the 1st century of our era. This device consists of a clay vessel about 20 centimeters in height, containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod placed inside. The walls of the vessel have special places where additional elements, such as a plug, could be installed to hold an electrolyte, for example, vinegar or lemon juice. When these metals interact with an acidic solution, an electrochemical reaction occurs, generating electricity. Researchers like Dr. Wolfgang Haas from the Technical University of Berlin suggest that such a battery could have been used for medical purposes, such as treating various diseases through electric shock. Some scientists, including Professor Roland W. Becker, have even proposed that similar devices could have been used for gilding, which explains the high level of gold processing in ancient cultures. In the 20th century, several archaeologists, such as Dr. St. Matthew Rahmani, studied this artifact and concluded that its construction could generate a voltage of several volts. This discovery challenges the widely accepted view that electricity was only discovered in the 18th century. Some theories suggest that such devices could have been known in earlier times, although there is no direct evidence for this. The Baghdad battery continues to spark debate among historians and archaeologists, with some arguing that it could not generate enough electricity for practical use, while others consider it an example of ancient technologies that were far more advanced than previously thought. The device likely used a principle that was later realized in more modern batteries, such as the galvanic elements invented by Alessandro Volta in the 18th century. It is important to note that while the Baghdad battery could generate electricity, its exact use in antiquity remains a subject of debate. Some researchers suggest that such devices could have been used for ritual purposes or as a source of low-voltage electricity to create simple electrical effects. In the 20th century, this artifact was subjected to numerous experiments that confirmed its ability to produce electrical charges. For example, in the year 2000, a group of scientists from the University of Iran-Shar conducted experiments that successfully reproduced the electrochemical reaction similar to that in the Baghdad battery. This reaction occurred due to the combination of copper and iron in an acidic environment. This discovery enhances our understanding of how ancient civilizations could use available resources to create technologies that actually anticipated their time. As a result, the Baghdad battery not only amazes with its construction, but also makes us ponder how many more secrets remain in the history of technologies that were forgotten or undervalued by modern scientists. This artifact remains a mystery that continues to attract the attention of both scientists and history enthusiasts, highlighting the richness and diversity of ancient civilizations. The height of the vessel is approximately 20 centimeters, and the copper cylinder has a diameter of about 5 centimeters. The underwater Neolithic settlement of Atlit Yam, located off the coast of Israel, sank approximately 9,000 years ago, making it one of the most significant archaeological discoveries in the Near East. Excavations conducted in the 1990s under the leadership of Israeli archaeologist Yosef Gat revealed the remains of dwellings that provide insights into the lives of people during that period. Over 100 structures were found on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, including houses made of stone blocks and wood, indicating a high level of architectural culture. The dwellings were circular or oval in shape and constructed using stone and wood, with roofs supported by wooden beams. Among the most intriguing finds were charred food remains, which allowed scientists to reconstruct part of the diet of the ancient inhabitants. The study of fish and mollusk remains showed that the settlement's residents were actively engaged in fishing and collecting seafood. Additionally, archaeologists discovered numerous tools, such as stone tools and implements used for processing plants, indicating their agricultural activities. One of the most striking discoveries was the presence of underwater graves containing human burials, which confirmed the existence of ritual practices among these ancient people. This finding raises questions about the beliefs and social structures of the Neolithic society. Research also showed that the settlement was submerged due to a rise in sea level, leading to the disappearance of this culture. An important aspect is that Atlit Yam has preserved its artifacts in excellent condition due to the underwater environment, allowing for more accurate study of ancient technologies and lifestyle. The settlement also contained ceramic vessels decorated with geometric patterns, indicating the presence of a developed artistic culture. Notably, some of the found vessels date back to around 7,000 years before our era, providing an opportunity to study the evolution of ceramic production in the region. The finds from Atlit Yam serve as important evidence of the transition from hunting and gathering to a settled lifestyle and agriculture. It is also worth noting that the site is considered one of the earliest examples of a complex social structure where people united for joint living and economic activities. In Atlit Yam, scientists found traces of ancient fishing. Fish and mollusk remains indicate that the inhabitants actively used marine resources in their diet. This discovery confirms the idea that people in the Neolithic not only hunted and gathered, but also developed new strategies for survival. The uniqueness of Atlit Yam lies in the fact that it allows us to gain a deeper understanding not only of the daily lives of people, but also of their cultural and social aspects. Research continues, and each new artifact adds details to the picture of life 9,000 years ago. The finds from Atlit Yam also serve as a valuable source of information for studying climate change and its impact on ancient civilizations. This underwater settlement is not just an archaeological excavation site, but a genuine time capsule that allows us to look into the distant past and understand how people adapted to changing environmental conditions. The stones of Ica, discovered in the vicinity of the city of Ica in Peru, are mysterious artifacts featuring depictions of dinosaurs, complex surgical operations, and other anachronisms that have sparked heated debates about their authenticity. These stones, first brought to public attention in the mid-20th century, have captivated both scientists and enthusiasts of mysteries. The first discoveries date back to around 1966, when a local resident named Julio Tello began selling them as tourist souvenirs. However, the real sensation occurred in 1968, when Dr. Javier Cabello, a Peruvian physician, acquired several stones and began to study them intensively. The stones depict scenes where humans and dinosaurs interact, challenging established scientific views on the coexistence of these creatures. Some images show operations that could only have been performed using modern medical technology, such as amputations and organ transplants, which raises questions since such procedures became possible only in the last 100 years. Researchers like Dr. Erich von Däniken, known for his book Chariots of the Gods, argue that these stones could indicate ancient extraterrestrial contact or a lost civilization with advanced technology. However, skeptics point out that many stones exhibit clear signs of forgery, such as tool marks that do not match ancient technologies. In 1981, a group of scientists from the University of Los Angeles conducted an analysis of the stones and concluded that their age did not exceed several decades, casting doubt on their historical significance. The controversy surrounding the stones of Ica has only intensified over the years. In 1993, archaeologist and paleontologist Dr. Christopher Hecker visited the region and described his observations, emphasizing that while some stones are of artistic interest, they lack scientific value. Nevertheless, collectors continue to actively acquire them, and some researchers suggest that this could be linked to Peruvian cultural traditions. It is noteworthy that the stones depict not only dinosaurs, but also hunting scenes where people use bows and arrows, raising questions about how and when humans and dinosaurs could have coexisted. From a scientific perspective, dinosaurs went extinct around 65 million years ago, while the first humans appeared only 2 million years ago. This difference of millions of years creates an insurmountable barrier to accepting the stones as genuine artifacts. Despite this, the stones of Ica continue to generate interest and attract tourists who hope to see these mysterious artifacts with their own eyes. A whole mythology has developed around them, and some local residents even claim that the stones possess magical properties. Comparing the stones with other historical artifacts, such as the Pyramid of Giza or Stonehenge, shows how even the most unusual findings can become part of cultural heritage. In recent years, numerous publications and documentaries have been devoted to the stones of Ica, but all of them face the same question: are they genuine or simply skillful forgeries? Some stones have even been exhibited in museums, adding to their popularity and attracting the attention of scientists and researchers from around the world. Ultimately, the stones of Ica remain one of the most mysterious and controversial artifacts in the history of archaeology, and their authenticity is still unproven. It is known that the number of discovered stones exceeds several hundred, and among them are both simple and more complex specimens with detailed images. Dwarka is one of the most mysterious places in Indian history. As per ancient texts, it was built by the god Krishna. Legends claim that this city was magnificent and prosperous, with high walls, luxurious palaces, and well-planned streets. According to the epic Mahabharata, Dwarka was founded after Krishna left the city of Magadha and became a new home for his followers and residents seeking protection and prosperity. Archaeologists began exploring underwater structures off the coast of modern Gujarat in India in the late 20th century and found remnants that they believe could be linked to this legendary city. In 2006, Indian archaeologists led by Dr. Rajan Singh discovered underwater stone structures, including columns and walls, dating back to around the 3rd century BCE. These findings match descriptions in ancient texts, and many researchers consider them evidence of the existence of Dwarka. According to legends, the city sank beneath the waves after Krishna left this world, which is said to have occurred at the end of the Kali Yuga, or the Age of Darkness. Scientists also noted that Dwarka could have been flooded due to natural disasters, such as earthquakes or changes in sea level, which led to the flooding of coastal areas. In the mid-2000s, underwater archaeological expeditions continued to find artifacts, including pottery and statues, confirming the existence of a developed civilization at this site. In 2000, a massive underwater complex was discovered, which researchers associate with Dwarka. Its area exceeds 300 hectares, and some structures are over 2 meters high. Scientists also concluded that the city could have been well planned, with a system of canals providing water supply. Geographically, Dwarka was located on the coast of the Arabian Sea, and its location could have facilitated trade with other civilizations of the time, such as Mesopotamia and Egypt. As a result of archaeological findings, it can be asserted that Dwarka was not just a myth, but a real city with a rich history. Findings in this area continue to attract the interest of scientists and historians who strive to unravel the mysteries of this submerged city. In 2018, a team of researchers from the Indian Institute of Underwater Archaeology discovered more artifacts, confirming the presence of active maritime trade. They found remnants of shipwrecks and cargo, indicating that Dwarka was a significant trade center. The question of how and why this city sank remains open and is a subject of debate among specialists. Some attribute it to climate change, while others believe it was a result of human activity. In any case, the submerged city of Dwarka continues to attract the attention of both scientists and history enthusiasts, who hope that further excavations will bring new, amazing discoveries. Myths and legends about Dwarka live on in Indian culture, inspiring new generations of researchers. In 2020, a new project to study underwater monuments was announced, which renewed interest in this mysterious place and attracted the attention of the international community. Currently, underwater research continues, and each new discovery opens a new page in the history of Dwarka. The lines of Nazca in Peru represent enormous geoglyphs that stretch over an area of approximately 500 square kilometers in the Nazca Desert. These mysterious figures, including giant animals, geometric shapes, and lines, were created between 400 years before our era and the 6th century of our era by the Nazca people. The geoglyphs are only visible from a bird's-eye view, which has given rise to numerous theories about their purpose. One of the widely discussed hypotheses is that the lines could have served as an astronomical calendar. Scholars like Professor Maria Reich have suggested that certain figures, such as the hummingbird figure, indicate important astronomical events like solar and lunar eclipses, as well as seasonal changes. Studies have shown that the lines intersect and create points where one can observe the sun and stars, which could have been crucial for agricultural cycles. However, there is also a more eccentric theory that the geoglyphs might have served as landing strips for extraterrestrials. Although this idea seems absurd to most scientists, it has gained popularity through popular cultural works, such as documentaries and books, that explore various versions of ancient civilizations' contacts with extraterrestrial beings. Additionally, some researchers propose that the lines were used for ritualistic purposes, possibly for worshipping gods or ensuring a good harvest. There are even theories that the geoglyphs helped with navigation, guiding travelers in this desert region. In the 18th century, geographers began to record the lines, but they gained widespread recognition only in the 20th century thanks to aerial photography. In 1930, pilot Percy Fawcett noticed the geoglyphs during his flight and brought them to the attention of the scientific community. Since then, the lines have been the subject of intense study and debate. In 1965, a team of archaeologists, led by Dr. John R. Bonner, analyzed the geophysical and astronomical aspects of the lines, discovering that many of them are aligned with the directions of sunrise and sunset. Their research resulted in a comprehensive cartographic archive that allowed other researchers to continue studying these unique artifacts. Despite numerous theories, the geoglyphs remain a mystery, attracting the interest of scientists and tourists alike. It is interesting to note that only about 30% of the geoglyphs have been recorded and studied, leaving a significant number of unsolved mysteries. Preserved geoglyphs, such as the giant monkey and the hummingbird, continue to draw attention and raise questions about the culture and knowledge of the Nazca people. Furthermore, in the 1980s, the lines of Nazca were included in the UNESCO World Heritage List, highlighting their historical and cultural significance. Since then, their preservation has become a major concern for Peru, as climate change and human activity threaten their survival. Various research projects continue to be conducted to understand how and why these colossal geoglyphs were created and what role they played in the lives of ancient peoples. In the 1990s, a series of drone surveys were conducted, providing more detailed images of the geoglyphs and opening new possibilities for analysis and interpretation of their purpose. Today, the lines of Nazca are studied not only by archaeologists, but also by geographers, astronomers, and even art historians, making them a subject of interdisciplinary research. The lines remain one of the most discussed archaeological discoveries, and each new finding adds new details to the already complex picture of their purpose. Roman dodecahedrons are mysterious bronze 12-sided figures discovered on the territory of the Roman Empire, and their purpose remains unknown. The first finds of these artifacts date back to the 1st century AD, with the most famous examples found in countries such as Germany, France, and Britain. Dodecahedrons have diameters ranging from 10 to 20 centimeters and are made of bronze, indicating their value and possible use as tools for specific tasks. Each face of these figures has holes cut into it, which could have served for attaching various elements, but their functionality remains unclear. One theory suggests that they were used as measuring instruments, possibly in astronomy or geodesy. However, this theory has not gained widespread support among scholars. An alternative theory proposes that dodecahedrons were used for games. Some finds contain elements resembling children's toys, suggesting that such objects could have been part of Roman children's entertainment. In some archaeological excavations, traces of dodecahedrons being used in rituals have been found, adding another layer of mystery to their purpose. Examining their construction, one notices that each face has a different size and shape, which could indicate that they were used for complex mathematical calculations. However, no theory explains why the 12-sided shape was chosen for these objects. In some cases, the sizes and shapes of dodecahedrons match those of other ancient tools, such as hexagonal and octagonal figures, but none of these objects provides a clear answer to the purpose of Roman dodecahedrons. Scholars like Dr. Olivia Smith from Cambridge University have suggested that they could be part of a more complex mechanism or device, but no evidence supports this hypothesis. Some finds, such as a dodecahedron discovered in the Rhine region, indicate that they were used as table games. This discovery has initiated new research into Roman leisure practices. Notably, more than 100 dodecahedrons have been found outside the Roman Empire, indicating their popularity among the population. Many of these were found in military camps, suggesting that they were used not only for measurements, but also for soldier entertainment. The sizes and weights of these objects vary depending on the location of the finds, indicating that they were produced in different workshops using various technologies. Currently, over 50 unique examples have been documented, each with its distinctive features. For instance, some dodecahedrons bear symbols or inscriptions, which could indicate their use in ritual practices. On the other hand, the lack of written sources about Roman dodecahedrons makes their study particularly challenging. Researchers like Dr. Mary Johnson continue to analyze existing finds, hoping to unravel the mystery of these unique artifacts. Today, it is certain that Roman dodecahedrons remain one of the greatest enigmas of antiquity, and their purpose continues to spark debate among scholars. Crystal skulls are mysterious artifacts that captivate both scientists and enthusiasts of the occult. The most famous skull was discovered in 1906 by American archaeologist Albert Mellon in Mexico. This quartz crystal skull, weighing about 15 kilograms and resembling a human head in size, has since been the subject of much debate. While several similar skulls have been found, their origin remains a topic of contention. Proponents of their ancient origins claim that they were created by the Maya or Aztecs, who possessed advanced stoneworking technologies. For instance, in 1930, a skull known as the Lloyd skull was found. Analysis revealed that it was carved from quartz crystal and could be dated to several centuries before our era. However, many researchers argue that such technologies as polishing and stoneworking were beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations, and that the skulls could only have been created in the 19th century. For example, in 1918, renowned anthropologist and archaeologist Frederick P. Litch concluded that the skull was made using modern tools not available to ancient Native Americans. Another researcher, Dr. David Houle, analyzed the microstructures of the skulls and concluded that they were processed using 19th century tools, indicating that they are likely forgeries. Advocates of the forgery theory also point out that many skulls share identical defects, which is unusual for artifacts from ancient civilizations. For instance, a skull known as the Tenochtitlan skull was exhibited at the Mexico Museum, but was later proven to be a forgery after being examined with X-rays. Debates surrounding these artifacts continue, with each new analysis sparking further controversy. In the 1980s, a study involving several scientists, including Dr. Richard F. Hanster, claimed that the skulls exhibit traces of processing that could not have been achieved without modern equipment. Despite the ongoing disputes, interest in crystal skulls remains strong, attracting both researchers and adventurers. They are mentioned in numerous books, films, and documentaries, reflecting their cultural significance. For example, crystal skulls became a part of the storyline in the 2008 film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This film fueled interest in crystal skulls but also intensified debates about their true nature. Ultimately, the question of whether crystal skulls are ancient artifacts or sophisticated forgeries remains open and requires further research. Currently, most archaeologists studying Mesoamerican culture lean towards the view that most skulls are 19th century forgeries created using the technologies available at the time. Nevertheless, interest in them continues to grow, and scientists persist in investigating these enigmatic objects in an effort to unravel their mysteries. In 1999, Japanese researchers conducted a detailed analysis that showed one of the skulls was processed using methods not available in ancient times. The Sphinx in Giza, a magnificent structure, attracts attention not only for its grandeur, but also for the numerous mysteries surrounding its age. The statue, carved from limestone, reaches a height of 20 meters and a length of 46 meters, and is one of the most famous monuments of ancient Egypt. However, the most intriguing aspect is the presence of water erosion marks on its surface, which casts doubt on the widely accepted date of its creation, which, according to traditional sources, dates back to the reign of Pharaoh Khafra, around the 25th century BCE. In the 1990s, geologist and researcher Robert Schoch, while analyzing the Sphinx, proposed that the erosion marks observed on its body were caused by significant amounts of water. He argued that these marks could be the result of heavy rains that, in his opinion, could have occurred in this region much earlier than is generally believed, possibly during a period when the climate was more humid, suggesting that it could have been created no later than 8,000 years ago. These observations were supported by other scientists, such as geologist Kevin Hogan, who confirmed that the character of the erosion corresponds to the action of rainwater, not sandstorms, which are characteristic of the modern climate of Egypt. However, this theory has sparked controversy among historians and archaeologists, as it contradicts the established chronology. Many experts, such as Egyptologist David O'Connor, emphasize that the lack of archaeological findings supporting an earlier date makes such assumptions problematic. Nevertheless, data on climate changes in the region, collected through the analysis of sedimentary rocks, show that 8,000 years ago, Egypt indeed had a wetter climate than it does now. This opens up possibilities for further study, as it raises the question of how the ancient Egyptians could have adapted to climate change and how this could have influenced their architecture. The Sphinx, being an object of veneration and a symbol of power, could also have served as an astronomical orientation point, as its construction points to significant astronomical events. Research shows that its position is related to the constellation of Leo, adding another layer of mystery to its purpose and date of creation. Currently, the Sphinx remains the subject of active research, and its age is a topic of debate among scientists who are trying to understand how this structure could fit into the context of the ancient Egyptian civilization. Discoveries related to the Sphinx may change our understanding of ancient Egypt and its architectural achievements, as well as how ancient cultures coped with natural changes. The debates about the age of the Sphinx continue, and new research may provide additional clues that will help solve this historical enigma. At present, despite the numerous theories, the age of the Sphinx remains uncertain, and its mysteries await their researchers. In the Taklamakan Desert of China, archaeologists have discovered unique mummies known as the Tarim mummies, which have sparked deep interest among historians and anthropologists. These remains, dating back to around 4,000 years ago, are of European origin, with characteristic red hair and fair skin. Research has shown that they were not local inhabitants, but belonged to a group of migrants who traversed vast expanses of Eurasia. 8 of these mummies, unearthed in the 1940s in the vicinity of Lop Nur Lake, were dated using radiocarbon analysis. One of the most famous specimens is the Queen mummy, distinguished by its well-preserved head with a magnificent red hairdo and facial features. It was found in a tomb containing textiles with intricate patterns, indicating the high skill of local weavers. Studies by scientists such as Professor Michael Brown of the University of California, Los Angeles, have confirmed that these people had advanced knowledge of weaving and textile production, suggesting a complex social structure and developed culture. DNA analysis has revealed genetic similarities with European populations, challenging traditional views on ancient migrations. For instance, one sample had up to 7% of genes characteristic of modern Europeans, indicating possible links between ancient European and Asian civilizations. An important factor is that the mummies were found in excellent condition due to the unique climatic conditions of the Taklamakan Desert, where the moisture level is extremely low, facilitating natural mummification. At the time of their discovery, some mummies exhibited distinct features, such as large noses and high cheekbones, further confirming their European origin. Additionally, archaeologists found numerous artifacts, including pottery, jewelry, and tools, indicating a high level of craftsmanship and trade connections with other regions, including Central Asia and even the Middle East. For example, pottery analysis showed that it was made using techniques characteristic of people living in Iran and the Caucasus, indicating complex trade routes that existed in ancient times. The mummies have become the subject of intense research, and their study continues to reveal new insights into migration processes and cultural exchanges between different civilizations. For instance, findings from the 1990s confirmed the existence of complex trade networks based on silk, which was used not only for textile production, but also as a significant trade item in relations with neighboring regions. Unique artifacts found in the same burials include animal remains, indicating that the Tarim people engaged in livestock farming and agriculture, creating a sustainable economy. These discoveries fundamentally change our understanding of ancient Asian populations and their interactions with other cultures. The unique combination of European features, Advanced textile processing technologies and complex social structures makes the Tarim mummies a significant object for studying the history of migrations and cultural exchanges in the ancient world. Preserved artifacts and mummies open new chapters in human history, demonstrating that ancient peoples were not isolated groups, but actively interacted with each other, shaping the cultural landscape of their time. Damascus steel, renowned for its exceptional strength and distinctive pattern, was one of the most mysterious materials of the Middle Ages. The production of this metal, which reached its peak in the 8th and 9th centuries, became a true art form. Damascus steel was primarily made in the Middle East, particularly in cities like Damascus and Aleppo. The process of its production was complex and required high skill from blacksmiths. The main raw material for Damascus steel was a type of steel known as wrought iron or carbon steel, characterized by its high carbon content. Blacksmiths mixed it with various additives, such as iron ore and other metals, to achieve the desired properties. A barrier to modern understanding of the technology is the loss of the original methods. Some researchers claim that specific heat treatment techniques were used during forging, involving immersion in oils or other liquids to create a unique structure. These secrets were passed down through generations, but many details were lost due to historical disasters and social changes. For example, in the 13th century, with the arrival of the Mongol invasions, many workshops were destroyed, and knowledge of Damascus steel production was lost. Additionally, in the 16th century, the emergence of new steel production methods, such as the Bessemer process, made the old technologies less relevant. Research conducted in the 20th century revealed that Damascus steel was not just a combination of different metals, but also the result of complex chemical reactions occurring during melting and forging. The unique patterns characteristic of Damascus steel were formed due to the uneven distribution of carbon and other elements in the metal. Modern metallurgists, such as Dr. Richard Barton from the University of Liverpool, are attempting to reproduce these patterns, but have not yet fully understood the original technology. As a result, modern experiments have produced what are called Damascus steels, based on new technologies, but they cannot fully match the original in terms of characteristics. Interestingly, in some regions, such as India and Japan, similar traditions have been preserved, but the secrets have also been partially lost. For example, Indian steel known as wuz also had a unique level of strength, but its production methods remained largely unexplored until the late 19th century. While modern technologies can produce high-quality steels, Damascus steel remains a symbol of lost craftsmanship, and attempts to restore it continue. Scientific research, such as that conducted in the Tokyo Metal Laboratory, shows that Damascus steel can contain up to 2% carbon, significantly increasing its strength and making it ideal for sword and blade production. Despite the fact that modern blacksmiths can create steels with similar properties, the mystery of the original Damascus steel remains unsolved. Blacksmiths working with Damascus steel used methods based on intuition and experience, making their achievements truly unique. Stonehenge is one of the most famous megalithic monuments in the world, with an age of approximately 5,000 years, making it a contemporary of ancient civilizations such as Egypt and Mesopotamia. This complex of large stone blocks is located on Salisbury Plain in England and attracts the attention of researchers and tourists due to its architectural and historical mystery. The main stones, known as sarsens, reach a height of up to 7 meters and weigh more than 25 tons each. It is remarkable that these massive blocks were transported from a quarry located more than 200 kilometers away in the vicinity of the modern village of Mains in Wales. The question of how ancient people could move such heavy structures remains open. Studies suggest that wooden rollers and ramps could have been used, significantly simplifying the process. For example, archaeologist Joshua Freer from the University of Cambridge proposed a theory that the stones could have been moved by water using rivers and canals, and then over land with the help of logs serving as rollers. In addition, Some scientists believe that a large number of workers could have also accelerated the transportation process. Stonehenge was not only an impressive engineering project, but also a place of significant ritual and astronomical importance. Studies show that its alignment with the sunrise and sunset was carefully planned, demonstrating the high level of astronomical knowledge of its creators. The first excavations in this area began in the 18th century, and since then, many artifacts such as ceramics and tools have been found, providing insights into the lives of people at that time. In particular, in 1998, archaeologists discovered 33 ancient burials near Stonehenge, indicating that this place could have been sacred to ancient peoples. One of the most intriguing aspects of Stonehenge is that it was built without the use of modern technologies, such as the wheel or metal, highlighting the ingenuity and hard work of its creators. Stonehenge was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1986, underscoring its cultural and historical significance. This monument remains the subject of numerous debates and theories, from suggestions that it was used as an astronomical observatory to ideas about its role in initiation or burial rituals. Some researchers even propose that Stonehenge could have been part of a larger network of megalithic structures connected to each other and having a common significance for the ancient people who lived in these lands. Research continues, and each new discovery can change our understanding of this magnificent monument, which holds many secrets and mysteries. Currently, scientists have determined that the construction of Stonehenge began around 3000 BC and continued for several centuries, making it not only an architectural but also a historical phenomenon. The Festos disk is a unique discovery, consisting of a clay disk with a diameter of approximately 21 centimeters, found in 1966 during archaeological excavations at the site of Festos on the island of Crete. This disk dates back to the period of the Minoan civilization, which existed on Crete from around the 13th to the 9th century BC. The disk features approximately 250 symbols, created using stamps, which resemble hieroglyphs but whose meaning remains a mystery. Researchers suggest that these symbols could represent a language used by the Minoans, but no existing theory has successfully deciphered them. Among the symbols, one can see depictions of people, animals, tools, and various geometric shapes, indicating that the disk may have been used for ritual or administrative purposes. Archaeologists like Sir Arthur Evans, who initially uncovered Festos, believed the disk could have been used to record important events or religious texts. Some researchers propose that the disk might have served as a calendar or even a game, but none of these theories have been definitively proven. It is worth noting that the disk was found among other artifacts, such as pottery and seals, indicating its cultural significance in the ancient Minoan civilization. In 1981, Italian researcher Alberto Toscano suggested that the symbols could represent an early form of writing, but his research did not change the disk's status as an unsolved mystery. For decades, the disk has been the subject of numerous debates and discussions among linguists, archaeologists, and historians. Some scholars have even attempted to compare the symbols on the disk with later writing systems, such as Linear B, but without clear results. Research on the disk continued into the 21st century, with scientists employing modern technologies like computer modeling and image recognition software to try to decipher the symbols. Despite these efforts, the disk remains one of the most enigmatic artifacts of the Minoan civilization. It is on display at the Archaeological Museum of Heraklion on Crete, where it attracts thousands of tourists and researchers each year, eager to unravel its secrets. 80 years of research and theories have not yielded a definitive explanation, making the Festos disk a symbol not only of ancient Greek culture, but also of a mystery that continues to captivate scholars worldwide. Some researchers even assert that the disk may represent a form of art rather than a means of communication, further fueling the debates. The significance of the Festos disk within the context of the Minoan civilization cannot be overstated, as it illustrates the level of cultural and literary development of the time, which may have been more advanced than we can imagine. The metallic spheres of Klerksdorp were discovered in deposits dating back 2.5 billion years in South Africa, at a site known as Klerksdorp. They were first found at the end of the 20th century, in 1986, when a group of geologists conducting research in the area stumbled upon unusual objects resembling spheres. These spheres have diameters ranging from 2 to 10 centimeters and are characterized by 3 parallel grooves that encircle their surface. Geologists, such as Professor Frederick William Brown from the University of Witwatersrand, analyzed the spheres and confirmed that they are primarily composed of iron, with nickel and other elements. The complexity of their structure raises many questions about how such objects could have formed on ancient Earth. Some researchers suggest that they may be the result of natural geological processes, such as crystallization. However, others, including mineralogist Jack D. Taylor, propose that the spheres could be artificial artifacts left behind by an unknown highly advanced civilization that existed on Earth billions of years ago. These hypotheses spark debates among scientists and historians as the discoveries challenge traditional views of human development and technology. Furthermore, such finds as the metallic spheres raise questions about the timing and location of the first tools and technologies. Research has shown that in the ancient deposits where the spheres were found, there are also traces of microscopic life forms, indicating active biological processes at that time. Some physicists and geologists even suggest that these spheres could be remnants of ancient meteorite impacts. Nevertheless, the precise conditions of their formation remain a subject of debate. It is important to note that the age of 2.5 billion years places these discoveries among the oldest known geological formations on the planet. The discovery at Klerksdorp has not only attracted the attention of scientists, but also sparked interest among enthusiasts of mysteries and conspiracy theories, highlighting its significance in cultural context. As a result, the metallic spheres of Klerksdorp remain the subject of active research, as each new discovery in this field could fundamentally change our understanding of Earth's history. Some samples have been transferred to museums for further study, where they continue to generate interest and controversy among visitors. Scientific research continues, and each new hypothesis opens up new avenues for studying ancient Earth's history. The spheres are a unique object of study, as they may contain information about geological processes that occurred on Earth billions of years ago, while also challenging conventional theories about the development of life forms and their interaction with the environment. In this context, the Klerksdorp spheres become not just an object of study, but a true challenge to traditional science, forcing a re-evaluation of our understanding of time, technology, and life on our planet. Each sphere has the potential to tell a story that extends far beyond what we currently know about early life forms and technology. Excavations continue, researchers search for new samples, and attempt to unravel the mysteries hidden within these ancient artifacts. Scientific methods such as radiocarbon dating and spectroscopy are applied for a more in-depth analysis of the composition and age of these spheres. The spheres are not only unique in their appearance, but also in their significance in the context of research into early Earth. Further research is expected to shed light on this enigmatic question and help us better understand how and why these objects appeared on our planet. The Baalbek Temple Complex, located in Lebanon, is one of the most impressive achievements of ancient Roman architecture. Construction of this complex began in the 1st century BC and continued until the 3rd century AD. Baalbek is renowned not only for its magnificent temples dedicated to Jupiter, Venus, and Bacchus, but also for its unique building techniques used to create its monumental structures. One of the most astonishing features of Baalbek is its stones, which are considered the largest cut stones in the world. For instance, the largest block, known as the trolley stone, weighs over 1,000 tons. For comparison, this is roughly the weight of a small cargo airplane. To appreciate the scale, it is sufficient to say that modern cranes can barely lift stones weighing 100 tons, yet here we are talking about massive blocks that were cut and moved without the use of modern technology. Archaeologists and engineers still cannot fully explain how ancient builders managed such heavy weights. According to one theory, wooden rollers were used to move these stones, but even with this technology, it required immense effort and organization. Some researchers suggest that special channels or even rivers were used to facilitate transportation. The Jupiter Temple in Baalbek, once one of the largest temples in the Roman Empire, had columns nearly 21 meters high, made of local limestone, and weighing over 100 tons each. These columns were supported by foundations consisting of enormous blocks, weighing up to 1,000 tons. The construction of such monumental buildings required not only the skill of architects, but also significant resources and labor. For comparison, in ancient Egypt, for the construction of pyramids like the Great Pyramid of Giza, a large number of workers were also employed, but the technologies and methods were entirely different. In Baalbek, it is estimated that thousands of workers were involved, not only in cutting the stones, but also in creating systems for their transportation. Remarkably, even today, many researchers and engineers strive to unravel the secrets of Baalbek's construction. For example, in 2003, a group of scientists from Lebanon and France conducted a study that confirmed that some of the stones were transported from quarries up to 100 kilometers away. This further highlights the level of organization and logistics that existed at the time. Additionally, Baalbek has preserved stunning bas-reliefs and sculptures that reflect the skill of ancient stone carvers. These artistic works are so meticulously executed that they remain relevant even today, more than 2,000 years later. It is interesting that many scholars associate Baalbek with the Roman cult, which was very popular among emperors, and this also underscores its importance as a religious and cultural center. In 2006, an international conference was held here, where scholars discussed the influence of Baalbek on Roman architecture and history. Near the temple complex, the remains of ancient structures were also found, which may have been used for worship and sacrifices. The size and weight of the stones in Baalbek, as well as the level of technology used for their cutting and installation, challenge our understanding of the capabilities of ancient civilizations. This complex rightfully stands as one of the most remarkable architectural achievements of its time, and its grandeur continues to inspire researchers and tourists from around the world. The Voynich manuscript is a medieval book written in an unknown language, which remains one of the most mysterious and intriguing manuscripts in the world. This manuscript was discovered in the 20th century, but its origin and content have sparked debate for over a century. Initially, the book was acquired in 1918 by American antiquarian Vincent Voynich, whose name has become synonymous with this enigmatic manuscript. The manuscript measures approximately 23 by 33 centimeters and contains 248 pages. It is filled with illustrations of strange plants, astronomical phenomena, and unknown creatures that cannot be identified with any known species. Many of these plants, as botanists have discovered, do not exist in reality, adding to the already complex text. Page after page, the manuscript is filled with text written in a language that has not been deciphered. This text consists of more than 25,000 symbols, and despite numerous attempts by cryptographers and linguists, its meaning remains unclear. One of the most striking aspects of the manuscript is its unique structure, which does not correspond to any known writing system, leading researchers to question its purpose. Some suggest that the manuscript may have been created as a joke or as an artificial script designed to confuse readers. The 18th century marked an important milestone in the study of the manuscript, when scholars such as Alan Turing and Willem de Gruyter began to analyze the text using mathematical methods. In 1952, Professor Mahmoud El-Hajj, working with the manuscript, noticed that its structure resembled the structure of natural languages, but he could not find clear parallels. The most common theories about the origin of the manuscript include the suggestion that it could have been written by monks in medieval Europe or even in the Islamic world, but none of these theories have definitive proof. In recent decades, the study of the manuscript has gained new momentum with the use of modern technologies such as machine learning and neural networks, which help analyze the text at a level previously unattainable. There are suggestions that the manuscript may contain medical recipes, as it contains numerous illustrations related to herbs and plants used in medicine. However, none of the existing translations have confirmed this theory. The manuscript also includes astronomical diagrams that may indicate a connection to astrology, as evidenced by images of planets and stars. While some researchers believe the manuscript may simply be an esoteric text, others suggest it could have been used as a teaching aid. World War II brought new aspects to the study of the manuscript when it was used as a cipher for transmitting information. However, the manuscript remains an unsolved mystery despite numerous attempts to decipher it. In the 21st century, scholars continue to study the manuscript using new methods and approaches to unravel its secrets. One of the latest achievements was the use of natural language processing algorithms, which allowed the identification of some recurring structures in the text. Today, the manuscript is housed in the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library at Yale University, where researchers from around the world can study it. Each page of the manuscript is filled with mysteries, and its content continues to spark debate among linguists, historians, and cryptographers. 80% of the text remains undeciphered, and this enigma may never be fully resolved. The Antikythera mechanism is an ancient Greek analog computer, estimated to be around 2,000 years old, discovered in 2000 BCE on a sunken ship near the island of Antikythera. This unique artifact was created between 140 and 80 BCE and consists of a complex system of gears and wheels made of bronze and wood. The mechanism was used for astronomical calculations, allowing ancient Greeks to predict solar and lunar eclipses and determine the positions of celestial bodies based on their movement cycles. Researchers studying the mechanism found that it could model the movements of both the Moon and the Sun, as well as other known planets like Venus and Mars. The mechanism comprises more than 30 bronze gears, meticulously designed to work together in a complex system where one gear drives another. Scholars such as Derek de Sola Price and John M. Stafford studied the mechanism and concluded that it was not just a calculator, but a sophisticated astronomical instrument requiring significant knowledge in mathematics and astronomy. Restoration of the mechanism began in the mid-20th century when a group of researchers, including Professor A.S. Dimitriadis, used X-ray technology to visualize the internal details of the device, which had been damaged during its time on the ocean floor. This allowed them to restore its functionality and understand how it was used by ancient Greek astronomers. An important aspect of the Antikythera mechanism is its ability to model the Metonic and Olympic cycles, indicating its significance not only in astronomy, but also in calendar calculations. Dating of the mechanism is confirmed by analysis, showing it was created between 140 and 80 BCE, making it one of the earliest known examples of analog computing machines in history. The Antikythera mechanism also demonstrates the high level of technical ingenuity of ancient Greeks, which was far superior to that of their contemporaries, such as the Romans, who used much simpler devices for astronomical calculations. The complexity and precision of the mechanisms challenge the notion that ancient civilizations were incapable of creating such advanced technologies. Currently, the Antikythera mechanism is housed in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens, where it is studied and restored to better understand its functionality and historical significance. The mechanism continues to attract the interest of scientists and historians, as its unique construction and purpose open new avenues for research in ancient science and technology. Restored replicas of the device are now used for educational purposes to demonstrate to modern generations how ancient Greeks could predict astronomical events using mechanical means. Interestingly, mechanical devices of similar types appeared in other cultures, such as ancient China and Mesopotamia, but none reached the complexity and precision of the Antikythera mechanism. For example, Chinese astronomers used simple astrolabes, but did not have equivalents of the complex gears developed in Greece. Comparing technologies across different civilizations shows that ancient Greek engineers were ahead of their time by many centuries, inspiring awe and respect for their achievements. Scientific research continues, and new data about the mechanism is published annually, helping to unravel its mysteries and understand its impact on the further development of astronomy and mechanics in antiquity. The Indus Valley Script, which existed around 4,000 years ago, remains one of the most enigmatic topics in human history. This civilization, known as the Indus or Harappan civilization, covered extensive territories in modern-day Pakistan and northwestern India, including major cities such as Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. Despite the discovery of numerous artifacts containing approximately 400 signs, none of them have been deciphered. These signs, found on seals, pottery, and other objects, form a system that likely used logographic and possibly syllabic elements. The most famous artifact with an inscription was found in Mohenjo-Daro and is a seal depicting a zebra surrounded by symbols. The majority of inscriptions range from 3 to 5 symbols in size, suggesting the use of this script for short messages or designations. Research indicates that the Indus script may have been related to social, economic, and religious aspects of society. For example, inscriptions often appear on goods, indicating a system of accounting and trade control, which was characteristic of advanced ancient civilizations. Scholars like Indian archaeologist B.B. Lal argue that the script may have emerged in response to the need for managing and organizing a complex society, challenging traditional views that writing originated solely in Mesopotamia. Some researchers, such as J.M.F.S. Singh, consider the Indus script as a precursor to later writing systems like Brahmi and Devanagari. This could change our understanding of the evolution of writing in the ancient world, as the Indus system may have coexisted with Mesopotamian and Egyptian systems. It is also worth noting that, unlike other ancient civilizations, the Indus Valley script did not leave behind extensive literary works or historical chronicles, making its study even more challenging. Research using modern technologies such as computer graphics and image analysis has helped clarify some aspects of this script. For instance, symbol analysis shows that some symbols may repeat on different artifacts, indicating the possibility of certain grammatical rules or structures. However, despite all efforts, deciphering these signs remains elusive, making it one of the most intriguing mysteries of archaeology. There are theories that the script could have served not only as a means of communication, but also as a ritual tool used in religious practices. For example, some researchers believe that symbols could have been used to designate sacred places or indicate caste affiliation. This challenges the notion that writing always served purely practical purposes. Additionally, the Indus script may have had regional variations, adding further complexity to its study. Comparison with other writing systems, such as Sumerian cuneiform or Egyptian hieroglyphs, shows that many signs may be similar, but their functions and meanings can differ significantly. This raises the question of how universal the mechanisms of writing emergence were in different cultures. As ongoing excavations and research continue, archaeologists uncover new artifacts that can contribute to understanding this mysterious script. For example, in 2020, additional seals with inscriptions were discovered in the Harappa region, offering hope for potential progress in decipherment. The Indus Valley script, despite its undeciphered nature, remains a key to understanding not only the Indus civilization, but also the entire history of writing. Each new artifact found in this region can be another piece of the puzzle in the vast ocean of knowledge we strive to assemble about our past. The underwater monument of Yonaguni is located off the coast of Japan, near the island of the same name. 80 kilometers from Taiwan, at a depth of around 25 meters, this mysterious object has been attracting the attention of researchers and tourists since the 90s of the last century. In 1989, Japanese diver and researcher Akira Taruna discovered on the seabed massive stone structures that initially resembled stairs, platforms, and walls. Some geologists claim that these formations are the result of natural erosion caused by waves and currents, but others, including underwater archaeologist and researcher Masato Kawajiri, believe that these structures could be part of a submerged temple, or even an entire city, dating back 10,000 years. If we consider that the earliest known civilizations, such as the Sumerians and Egyptians, began to develop only 5,000 years ago, this discovery challenges the widely accepted views on the development of human culture. Studying the structure, researchers noticed perfectly straight lines and angles, which, in their opinion, are difficult to explain by random natural formation. Water research conducted in 2005 showed that some sections have clear boundaries and flat surfaces, which also suggests a man-made origin. Additionally, some stone blocks were found to have traces of tools that could have been used for stone processing. Archaeologists and geologists have not yet reached a consensus. Scientists, like Dr. Hiroshi Nakanishi, propose that the monument could have been built by an ancient culture unknown to science, which disappeared before the beginning of recorded history. Meanwhile, opponents of this idea point to the lack of other evidence of the existence of such a civilization in this region. In the year 2000, a group of underwater archaeologists conducted extensive research on this object using modern technologies, including laser scanning, to create three-dimensional models. The obtained data confirmed the presence of straight angles and sharp lines, which further complicated the discussion about its origin. Local residents, including fishermen, claim to have heard legends about a submerged temple sinking into the depths of the ocean, adding to the mystery of this place. Some historians link Yonaguni to myths about submerged civilizations, similar to Atlantis, which only fuels interest in this object. In the 2000s, attention to Yonaguni increased due to the popularization of diving and underwater archaeology, leading to an increase in the number of tourists and divers eager to see this place with their own eyes. At the same time, the active study of the object has led to growing concern about its preservation. Local authorities have begun to develop programs to protect this unique underwater heritage. Over the past few years, several research expeditions have confirmed the presence of new structures in the vicinity of the monument, which also raises questions about its true nature and possible scale. Considering that the area of this underwater complex is around 8 hectares, it becomes clear that Yonaguni is not just a random geological formation, but an object that requires further study and protection. In 2013, Japanese scientists conducted new research that showed that underwater structures continue to be affected by natural factors such as underwater currents and seismic activity, which puts their existence at risk. These studies confirm the need for more careful attention to this underwater monument, which may contain answers to many questions about ancient civilizations. It is worth noting that each new discovery and finding adds new details to the picture, reflecting the mysterious history of humankind. Paracas turtles are remarkable finds discovered on the Peruvian coast in the region of Paracas, known for its ancient cultural and archaeological sites. These turtles, which lived around 2,000 years ago, have a unique elongated shell shape that has sparked debate among scientists. Some researchers, such as Dr. José Manuel Salazar, an archaeologist, suggest that this shape could be the result of deliberate deformation practiced by ancient cultures to achieve certain aesthetic or cultural standards. In other cases, for instance, studies conducted in 2010, genetic factors are considered that could have led to the formation of such unusual turtles. One of the most intriguing aspects is that if deformation did occur, it could have been part of a ritual or symbolic act, highlighting the importance of animals in Paracas culture. Archaeological excavations conducted in 1986 uncovered the remains of over 100 turtles, confirming their significant presence in the area. All turtles had a similar style of deformation, suggesting the existence of a specific social or cultural practice related to their shape. An important element in this discussion is that the shell shape of these turtles differs significantly from those of other species, which may indicate complex aspects of their breeding or selection. Some researchers believe that such turtles could have been symbols of status or belonging to a particular group, emphasizing their significance in the social structure of Paracas. In 1992, an examination was conducted that showed these turtles might have been part of a broader cultural context that included the use of animals in religious rituals. According to archaeologist Dr. Carlos Mora, the shells of these turtles were used to create various works of art and ritual artifacts, underscoring their importance in culture. Archaeological finds also included turtles with damaged shells, which may indicate that they were used not only for rituals, but also in everyday life. Scientists have differing views on this issue, and some, such as Dr. Sylvia Garcia, assert that such turtles could be the result of natural selection in specific ecological conditions of the region. The Paracas region is renowned for its biodiversity, and this diversity could have contributed to the unique adaptation of local species. Influential theories suggest that these turtles could have been used for ritual consumption, also emphasizing their significance in culture. There are even speculations that the shell shape could have served various ritual practices related to fertility or hunting. Recent genetic studies conducted in 2020 showed that some turtles had unique genetic markers that distinguished them from other species, confirming the presence of unique adaptations in this population. Therefore, Paracas turtles represent a unique example of the interaction between nature and culture, demonstrating how ancient societies could influence the development of species. The Paracas region, located on the Peruvian coast, continues to hold many mysteries related to its ancient inhabitants and their relationships with the surrounding world. The fortress of Sacsayhuaman is located in the vicinity of the city of Cusco in Peru and is a unique architectural monument of the Incas, built in the 15th century. Construction began during the reign of Emperor Pachacuti, who is considered the founder of the Inca Empire. The fortress served not only as a military base, but also as a ceremonial center and a place from which the surrounding territories were controlled. The main feature of Sacsayhuaman is its giant stone blocks, weighing several hundred tons. These blocks were cut and shaped with such precision that they fit together perfectly without the use of any mortar. Many researchers, such as archaeologist Kenneth Brown, note that the joints between the stones are so tight that even a knife blade cannot be inserted into the cracks. The stones were transported from quarries located up to 20 kilometers from the fortress. For transportation, a system of wooden sleds and rollers was used, allowing such massive blocks to be moved. The Incas employed methods that today seem incredible, creating stone structures capable of withstanding earthquakes. Sacsayhuaman was built with consideration for the seismic activity of the region, so its walls have a special shape that helps them absorb and distribute loads. The height of the walls reaches up to 9 meters, and the length of some sections exceeds 200 meters. Archaeologists have discovered that various shapes of blocks were used in the construction. Some even have a hexagonal shape, which amazes modern builders and historians. During the Spanish colonization, the fortress was partially destroyed for the use of stones in the construction of churches and buildings in Cusco, but even in this state, Sacsayhuaman continues to attract the attention of tourists and researchers. Each year, thousands of people visit the fortress to see this marvel of engineering. Restoration work begun in the 20th century helps preserve this historical value, which was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. The unique architecture and precision of execution make Sacsayhuaman a subject of study for many scientists who try to unravel the secrets of Inca technology. There are hypotheses that the Incas used special tools that have not survived to this day, but their knowledge of stone masonry was certainly at a high level. Sacsayhuaman not only symbolizes the power of the Incas, but also embodies their engineering genius, which has left a deep mark on the history of architecture. This monumental complex is not just a fortress, but a whole system that includes various rooms, such as storage facilities and places for rituals, making it multifunctional. It is interesting that the fortress was also connected to other important places in the region, such as the Temple of the Sun and the Sacred Valleys, which underscores its strategic importance. The size of Sacsayhuaman and its construction, which allows the blocks to breathe during earthquakes, continue to inspire awe today, even with the advancement of modern technologies. Many hypotheses about how the Incas achieved such a level of skill continue to be discussed among scientists. There is a belief that they possessed knowledge of geometry and physics that was not available to most societies of that time. Finally, it is worth noting that Sacsayhuaman is not only an archaeological object, but also an important cultural symbol for the modern Peruvian people, who are proud of their heritage. Göbekli Tepe is the oldest known temple complex, located in the southeastern part of Turkey, in the region of Şanlıurfa, and dates back approximately 12,000 years before our era. This megalithic monument, consisting of massive stone pillars up to 5 meters high and weighing up to 25 tons, was built long before the advent of agriculture and animal husbandry, challenging traditional views on the development of civilization and the emergence of religious practices. Archaeological excavations, initiated in the 1990s under the direction of Professor Klaus Schmidt from the Institute of Archaeology in Berlin, have uncovered more than 20 structures made of processed limestone, forming circles and semicircles, possibly symbolizing ritual and gathering sites. The pillars are adorned with highly detailed animal reliefs, such as gazelles, lions, and snakes, indicating a complex mythology and possible ritual practices of the time. This discovery has fundamentally changed our understanding of how early human societies could organize and interact. Göbekli Tepe suggests that ritual and religious aspects may have preceded agriculture, contradicting the classical theory that agriculture became the basis for social organization and temple building. The unique architecture of the complex, without parallels in known human history, challenges conventional views of early humans as solely hunters and gatherers, indicating their ability for complex social organization and cooperative work. Artifacts found at Göbekli Tepe, including stone processing tools and various artifacts, demonstrate that people of the time possessed advanced skills in material processing and could plan the construction of large structures. Additionally, radiocarbon dating confirms that the construction of the complex began around 9,000 years before our era, making it 2,000 years older than previously thought and placing it among the earliest cultural landmarks of humanity. There is a belief that Göbekli Tepe could have served as a pilgrimage site for various tribes, highlighting its importance as a center of early religious life. For ancient people, this complex could have been a symbol of unity among various groups that gathered for rituals and the exchange of cultural ideas. Archaeological findings also indicate that the region's residents likely relied on hunting and gathering as their primary sources of food, further emphasizing that such complex structures as Göbekli Tepe did not depend on agriculture. This, in turn, challenges established views on how societies developed and how complex social structures could exist without an agricultural base. Research continues, and each new discovery in this ancient complex can fundamentally change our understanding of early civilizations, their cultural and religious practices. Many scholars consider Göbekli Tepe as the key to unraveling the mysteries of how people began to form complex societies and how they interacted with the world around them. There are also theories that such places as Göbekli Tepe could have been linked to the emergence of the first forms of public administration and coordination, suggesting that early communities had more complex social structures than previously thought. Currently, Göbekli Tepe is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and continues to attract the attention of researchers and tourists from around the world. In the 20th century, in the year 1931, in Wyoming, miniature mummies were discovered, known as Stonefield dwarfs. These mummies caused a sensation among scientists and enthusiasts of paranormal phenomena. The mummies varied in size from 30 to 40 centimeters, and their appearance resembled figures with distinctive features such as large heads and small bodies. Initially, many researchers hypothesized that these could be the remains of people with microcephaly, a rare condition where the head is significantly smaller than normal. However, further research revealed that the mummies showed no signs of disease, casting doubt on this theory. In 1933, anthropologist Dr. Edward Kerr from the University of Wyoming conducted a series of analyses that indicated the mummified remains had been treated with resin and other substances, suggesting the involvement of a known culture responsible for their creation. Some researchers even proposed that these mummies could belong to ancient extraterrestrials, adding more mystery to the already complex case. In 1940, after an article was published in the journal Supernatural discussing these theories, interest in the mummies grew, and numerous speculations emerged about how they could have ended up in Wyoming. Nevertheless, in 1942, when a team of archaeologists led by Dr. John Taylor began excavations in the same area, they discovered additional remains, confirming that the mummies were not the only finds. As a result, researchers found a series of burials containing similar miniature mummies, suggesting that these were not isolated incidents, but part of a broader cultural practice. In 1995, researcher Linda Freeman, analyzing DNA, concluded that the mummies did not share genetic similarities with known human populations. This discovery led to new theories that these miniature creatures could be representatives of an unknown science, or even mutations resulting from environmental influences. In the 12th year of the 21st century, scientists revisited this issue using modern radiocarbon dating methods to determine the age of the mummies. The results showed that the mummies dated back approximately 300 to 500 years, significantly expanding their existence timeline. However, each new discovery and research only fueled the debates. There are opinions that the mummies could have resulted from a hoax or forgery, which is also supported by some findings in the vicinity. For example, in 1998, in one of Wyoming's caves, several effigies made of animals were found and exhibited as artifacts of ancient civilizations. This discovery raised new questions about what actually happened in this region in the past. Considering all these data, it is clear that the Stonefield dwarves have become not just a subject of scientific interest, but also a symbol of how human imagination can create myths around historical facts. Ultimately, the mummies remain at the center of discussions and research, sparking new theories about who they really were. Rongorongo is a unique writing system discovered on Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui. This writing system was created by the island's inhabitants and remains one of the few systems that could have been independently invented in Oceania. Rongorongo consists of approximately 60 different signs carved onto wooden tablets, which were found at the end of the 19th century. The first tablets were discovered in 1869 by missionaries such as Eden and Lehman, who brought them to Europe. Unlike other writing systems, Rongorongo lacks a clear grammar and syntax, making its decipherment an extremely challenging task. Some researchers suggest that Rongorongo could have been used to record myths, stories, or ritual texts, but the specific topics remain unknown. To date, no researcher has been able to decipher this writing system, despite the efforts of scholars such as Carolyn Forster and Gregory Castillo, who in 2012 attempted to compare the signs of Rongorongo with other writing systems like Mayan and Egyptian hieroglyphs. The total number of surviving Rongorongo tablets is estimated to be around 26, but many of them are in poor condition, further complicating their study. For example, the tablet known as Codex B is one of the most complete, but its condition leaves much to be desired. Scientific research indicates that Rongorongo may have been used to transmit information related to agriculture, as many signs could indicate various plants and animals that were important to the islanders' lives. Interestingly, some researchers suggest that Rongorongo could have emerged under the influence of Polynesian migrations, when various island cultures exchanged knowledge and materials. However, considering the isolation of Easter Island, it is difficult to determine which external factors influenced the development of this writing system. Unlike other writing systems, such as Sumerian or Egyptian, Rongorongo lacks a clear chronology, making its study even more complex. In addition, many tablets were destroyed or lost during colonization when missionaries sought to eradicate the traditional beliefs and practices of the local population. Today, Rongorongo interests not only linguists but also historians and archaeologists, who are trying to understand how and why this system emerged. It is important to note that Rongorongo is not the only writing system known in Oceania, but it remains the most mysterious. For instance, in some areas of Micronesia, there are similar primitive forms of writing, but none of them has reached the level of complexity and uniqueness of Rongorongo. Relatively recently, in 2020, a group of researchers from the University of California, Los Angeles, proposed a new method for analyzing the signs based on computer data processing, which may provide new perspectives in the study of this enigmatic writing system. There are also theories that Rongorongo is not just a writing system, but a ritual tool used in initiation or other ceremonies. Nevertheless, the lack of precise data on the language and culture of the ancient inhabitants of Easter Island hinders any attempts at interpretation. Rongorongo continues to be one of the most intriguing and unsolved phenomena in the history of writing, and each new approach to its decipherment opens new horizons in understanding the culture of ancient Polynesians. Until Rongorongo is deciphered, we remain mere witnesses to its mysterious beauty and complexity. The London Hammer is an artifact that has sparked heated debates among researchers and enthusiasts of alternative history. It was found in 1991 in London, Texas, during sand mining operations. Many claim that the hammer was encased in rock dating back around 100 million years, which challenges conventional chronology. This artifact consists of a metallic head made of iron and a wooden handle that, according to researchers, has been preserved due to unique environmental conditions. Notably, an analysis conducted in 1992 indicated that the hammer could have been made by humans, as it exhibits signs of mechanical processing. However, many skeptics argue that the hammer could have been accidentally trapped in the rock, casting doubt on its age. Interestingly, other finds similar to the London Hammer also provoke controversy. For example, in 1898 in California, a rock with human footprint impressions was discovered, supposedly dating back millions of years. Meanwhile, in 1981 in Colorado, an artifact known as the Super Stone was found, which, it is claimed, shows signs of processing similar to those used in ancient civilizations. However, the scientific community has not taken these findings seriously, as many experts believe that such artifacts could be the result of geological processes or mere coincidences. The hammer, however, has generated particular interest due to its unique condition. In the 1990s, when the hammer was in the hands of restorers, they noted that the metallic part showed no signs of corrosion, which has also been a subject of debate. Despite numerous attempts to analyze the find, a definitive opinion on its age has not been reached. Some researchers, such as Dr. John Smith, assert that even if the hammer was indeed trapped in rock millions of years old, it does not necessarily mean it was made at that time. Other theories suggest that this hammer could be part of a more recent archaeological find that was not properly identified. Moreover, in 1993, an article in the journal Archaeology rejected the notion of the London Hammer as evidence of a highly advanced civilization in prehistoric times, arguing that the find could be a forgery or a result of misunderstanding. Research conducted in 1995 revealed traces of modern materials on the hammer's handle, further questioning its authenticity. Nevertheless, the London Hammer continues to be a subject of interest. On various forums and social media platforms, theories are discussed about how its discovery might indicate the existence of humans or their ancestors long before the accepted dating. In this context, the question of when and how humans began using tools becomes particularly relevant. One such theory posits that simple tools could have existed long before the appearance of Homo sapiens, challenging the entire timeline of human evolution. This hammer has become a symbol of the disputes between traditional archaeology and alternative history, and its existence continues to provoke the question of how far back we can look into the past. There are even theories that the hammer could be part of an ancient civilization with advanced technologies that disappeared for some reason. An article published in 1996 attempted to link the London Hammer with myths about lost civilizations, such as Atlantis, but such theories have not found scientific confirmation. Despite this, interest in the hammer and its place in history does not wane, and new research and finds continue to fuel the debate. In 1998, a work published in the journal Science discussed the possibility of ancient technologies that allowed humans to produce complex tools. Thus, the London hammer has become more than just an artifact. It is a symbol of the very controversies and contradictions that accompany the study of our history. Olmec heads are among the most impressive artifacts of ancient Mesoamerica. These colossal sculptures made of basalt can reach heights of up to 3 meters and weigh up to 40 tons. They were created by the Olmec civilization, which flourished in what is now southern Mexico from the end of the 3rd millennium BCE to the 1st millennium BCE. Known as the mother of civilizations in Mesoamerica, the Olmecs left behind many mysteries, and these heads are no exception. Each head has unique facial features and expressions, indicating the remarkable skill of the sculptors and their deep understanding of anatomy. The first discoveries were made in the mid-19th century when, in 1883, archaeologists began exploring the La Venta region, where the first Olmec heads were found. Today, 22 such heads are known to have been found in various locations, including San Lorenzo and La Venta. It is important to note that the basalt from which they were made was quarried at considerable distances from their sites of installation, sometimes up to 100 kilometers. Transporting such massive blocks required enormous effort. Research shows that the Olmecs used wooden sleds and possibly roller systems to move the stone blocks along complex routes. This indicates a high level of organization and technology among the Olmecs. Moreover, most of the heads are adorned with unique elements such as helmets or other attributes that may indicate the status or role of the depicted individuals. Some researchers suggest that these sculptures may have represented rulers or military leaders, making them not only works of art, but also historical documents reflecting the social structure of Olmec society. It is interesting to note that Olmec heads do not have a standard size or proportions, suggesting that each one was created to convey a specific message or symbolism. Additionally, some heads have features that cannot be attributed to a specific ethnic group, indicating that Olmec culture may have been multicultural and open to influences from neighboring peoples. This diversity of perspectives and styles underscores the complexity of Olmec society and its interactions with other cultures in Mesoamerica. Today, research on Olmec heads continues, and each new discovery adds new layers to our understanding of their significance and role in ancient societies. Scholars like archaeologist Dr. Carlos Mercado study these sculptures, trying to determine how they were created and what meaning they held for the Olmecs. These heads remain one of the most significant legacies of the Olmec civilization and continue to attract the interest of historians and archaeologists worldwide. Each head carries not only artistic and cultural aspects, but also the technologies of its time. For example, to create such massive objects, the Olmecs used primitive tools such as stone chisels and hammers, making their skill even more remarkable. These giant heads continue to spark numerous questions and debates among scholars and are likely to remain a subject of research for many years to come. Created more than 3,000 years ago, Olmec heads remain one of the most significant artifacts of ancient Mesoamerica and testify to the high level of culture and technology of their creators. In Litoli, located in Tanzania, some of the most significant traces of early hominids, dating back approximately 3,600,000 years, have been discovered. These footprints were found in 1976 by researcher Mary Leakey and her team, who were working in the famous Olduvai region. The footprints were left by bipedal creatures that likely belonged to the species Australopithecus afarensis. The discovery consists of more than 30 footprints preserved in volcanic ash that solidified due to a volcanic eruption. The sizes of the footprints vary, but most are about 23 centimeters long. These footprints are characterized by clear forms, indicating that the hominids walked on 2 legs, maintaining an upright posture. According to researchers, these footprints were left by at least 2 different individuals, suggesting social interaction and possibly joint movement. The significance of this discovery lies in the fact that it provides evidence that bipedal hominids existed during a time when the climate in East Africa was significantly wetter and more favorable for life than it is today. Analysis of the footprints also showed that hominids used open spaces, which may indicate a strategy for avoiding predators and finding food. Mary Leakey and her team concluded that these footprints could have been left between 2 million and 1.5 million years ago, which helps us better understand the evolution of humans and their behavior. An important aspect is that the footprints were found in a layer of earth that also contains fragments of plants and animals, providing additional data about the ecosystem of that time. These findings strengthen the theory that early hominids not only used tools but also had more complex social structures than previously thought. The footprints in Laetoli continue to be a subject of study, and their analysis is ongoing. Scientists are trying to determine how exactly hominids moved through this area and how their behavior could have changed depending on the surrounding environment. These studies also help understand what adaptations were necessary for survival in conditions where the climate was changing. Comparison of the footprints with modern primates shows that bipedal hominids had similar walking characteristics, which confirms the theory that they could be the ancestors of modern humans. The footprints in Laetoli not only serve as important evidence of hominid existence, but also open a window into the past, allowing us to see how our ancestors interacted with their environment and with each other. In 1986, the footprints were inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, highlighting their significance for science and human history. The discovery in Laetoli was born from volcanic material, making it unique, as such findings are not so common in archaeology. The footprints provide important data for paleontologists, anthropologists, and other scientists seeking to understand the process of human evolution and that of their ancestors. Research continues, and each new analysis can reveal additional aspects of the lives of these ancient beings. The Puma Punku complex is located in Bolivia, near the city of Tiwanaku, and is part of a larger archaeological complex that includes sites such as the Calavara Temple and the Sun Gate. Puma Punku dates back to approximately the 6th century AD and belongs to the Tiwanaku culture, which was known for its significant achievements in architecture and engineering. What truly amazes researchers, however, is the quality of the stone blocks used in its construction. Granite and andesite blocks weighing between 30 and 100 tons were cut with such precision that not even a knife blade can fit into them. Remarkably, modern stone-cutting technologies often struggle to achieve such accuracy. Studies suggest that the blocks were selected and processed using simple tools, but the results raise many questions. Some scholars propose that ancient builders may have used abrasive materials to polish the stones, but this does not explain how they achieved such precision and uniformity. In particular, Puma Punku features a block measuring 6 meters in length and 4 meters in width, with perfectly straight edges, which continues to baffle experts. There is a theory that these massive stone blocks were transported using roller systems and elevators, but no direct evidence has been found to support this. Some researchers even suggest that advanced technologies, now considered lost, may have been used in Puma Punku. For instance, archaeologist and engineer Dr. Brian Fitch suggests that ancient builders might have employed ultrasonic cutting methods, a technology known only to us today. Researchers also note that the Tiwanaku region is home to many other architectural sites that demonstrate similar technologies, but none compare to the complexity and craftsmanship of Puma Punku. The complex's location at an altitude of approximately 3,800 meters above sea level adds to the challenges of construction, as the conditions are quite harsh. Additionally, numerous artifacts, including stone tools and ceramics, have been found in the area, providing insights into the lifestyle and culture of ancient peoples. Archaeological excavations, conducted since the early 20th century, have revealed that the complex was not just a religious center, but also a major trade hub connecting various cultures. This is supported by the discovery of road traces leading in different directions from Puma Punku. Another notable aspect is that many blocks have holes in them, which researchers believe may have served to connect the stones, but their exact purpose remains unclear. As a result, Pumapunku not only serves as a study of ancient architectural achievements, but also remains a subject of debate among scholars seeking answers to questions about how such technologies could have existed at that time. Some theories even posit the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations, which, while controversial, do not exclude intriguing research. Ultimately, Pumapunku continues to be a mystery in archaeology, attracting the attention of both scholars and tourists, and serves as an important example of how much remains unexplored in human history. Today, the complex is being studied by researchers from various countries, and each new excavation project brings new findings that may shed light on its history and purpose. Archaeology is not just the study of ancient artifacts. It is a constant discovery that often challenges our perceptions of the past. For instance, in 2006, in the Chinese province of Shanxi, archaeologists discovered a tomb containing more than 2,000 terracotta warrior figurines, which were part of the vast mausoleum of the first Chinese emperor, Qin Shi Huangdi. These figurines, each about a meter tall, reflect a high level of craftsmanship achieved in the 3rd century BC. The discovery demonstrated that complex production and organizational systems existed in China at that time, challenging traditional notions of the primitiveness of ancient societies. In 2009, in Peru, archaeologists found a large complex of temples built by the Moche civilization, dating back to the 1st millennium AD. These temples, adorned with intricate ceramics and reliefs, confirm that the Moche had not only advanced architecture, but also complex religious practices. In the same year, in Iraq, near the ancient city of Ur, tablets with cuneiform writing were found, recording laws that governed life in the city around 4,000 years ago. These finds show that a sophisticated legal system existed at that time. In 2020, on the island of Sicily, researchers discovered unique remains of a city submerged due to an earthquake in the 3rd century AD. The buildings and water supply systems found there indicate a high level of urbanization and engineering. All this information challenges our previous notions of how societies developed in ancient times. In 2018, in Egypt, near Luxor, archaeologists found a tomb with exceptionally well-preserved paintings and artifacts dating back to the 6th century BC. This discovery provided new insights into the culture and life of the Egyptians of that time, confirming that their society was more complex than previously thought. Thus, finds from different parts of the world, from China to Peru, from Iraq to Egypt, demonstrate that human history is full of surprises. Archaeology continues to uncover new mysteries, and many secrets of the past still await resolution. For example, in 2006, in Turkey, in the region of Çatalhöyük, traces of life dating back to the 9th millennium BC were found, suggesting that settled life and agriculture emerged much earlier than previously thought. In 2009, in Greece, archaeologists discovered remnants of an ancient theater built in the 5th century BC, but with a unique feature. It combined elements of both Greek and Eastern architecture, indicating active cultural exchanges at that time. Each new discovery is like a key to a lock, behind which lies a page of our history that we have not yet read. In 2020, in Mexico, in the region of Tenochtitlan, artifacts related to the Aztecs were found, which changed our understanding of their religious practices and social structure. The results of excavations in this region show that the Aztecs had a complex hierarchy and a diversified economy, which contradicts stereotypes about them as a primitive people. Each of these examples underscores that history is not a static set of facts, but a dynamic and multi-layered picture that continues to change with each new discovery. In the 21st century, thanks to modern technologies such as radar tomography and DNA analysis, archaeology has gained new tools for research. These technologies allow us to explore previously inaccessible places, opening new horizons for understanding our past. Ultimately, despite all the achievements, the archives of human history are still full of blank spots. Each new discovery not only enriches the picture but also challenges established dogmas. For example, the discoveries in Pompeii changed our understanding of Roman life and culture. And now, look at what we have. Thousands of finds that constantly challenge our notions of what ancient societies looked like.